Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast and welcome to Chaos Renegades starting rosters. We are looking at all the teams that have been spawned in the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook, and we are putting together lists that you can take if you're planning on taking them in your next league. So we're looking at 1 million gold builds. We're not going too much into development or skills, but it will, unless it's really necessary. So you guys have asked for Chaos Renegades, so we put it up the list, and there is so much option in this roster. But what we have done is put together 4 very different ones to kind of give you some guidance on what you can buy. But before we go any further, we should look at the key changes for Chaos Renegades or Chaos Pact in this season. So Dark Elves, the Dark Elf and the Troll have both gone up 5k. So the Troll can now vomit on stuff. That's quite fun. The Dark Elf has kind of net an additional benefit. So historically, with its Edge 4, it was always the... do I use him as the thrower? Yes. Now it's got passing 3+, which is the best on the roster and better than most other Dark Elves, actually. So it did good. For 75k, you get yourself a 3+ passer, and all the other stats have stayed the same. One of the really cool things, and is going to give you something to really think about with your roster, is you can now take a Rat Ogre. So essentially what happens with the Pact build is you get a choice of 3 big guys from 4. Troll, Ogre, Minotaur, Rat Ogre. So you can have up to 3 at any one time on your roster. So if your Troll dies, you can buy the Rat Ogre, for example. So another thing to really consider when you're building is the fact that you can now have 3 very, very expensive big guys. And you get a thrower positional as well. So there is a human thrower, and he has joined the team. He is 75k, 6, strength 3, agility 3+, passing 3+, armor 9+, animosity all teammates. So the same as the other positionals on the team. And pass, no sure hands. It has safe pair of hands instead, which means if he gets knocked down, not trips, if he gets knocked down, you choose where the ball goes rather than rolling for scatter. Okay, so here's our first list. Now, one thing that's going to become very apparent with the Chaos Pact or the Chaos Renegades is that they have no skills at all. And what I mean by that is they've got very little in the way of combat skills or ball handling skills. Okay, so the human thrower has pass. I think that's literally it. So you do want to have rerolls. So we've got a couple of different rosters, 4 different rosters that look at the differences in what you can buy if you go high on rerolls or low on rerolls. Now we've gone for a middle build here. So this is your kind of mid-range Chaos Pact team. It's called 2 big, throw and 3. So you get 2 big guys, a thrower and 3 rerolls, which gives you enough to battle with. So 4 linemen, the Goblin, the Orc, the Skaven, the Dark Elf, and the Thrower. Okay, so you've got loads of great positionals there. You've got the Orc for the line, you've got the Skaven, you've got the Dark Elf, and you've got the Thrower to between them be the ball handlers or the quarterback. You've got the Goblin there to be just stunty madness, but also a really great target for throw teammate. So this roster, we've gone with the Ogre and the Minotaur, but you can swap them out for any 2 big guys at all. So if you take the Ogre and the Minotaur, you go 990. So you can take the Rat Ogre and the Minotaur, both the chunky boys at 150k each. That will take you bang on 1 million. So you can go for all that frenzy strength. We've gone with the Ogre and the Minotaur to do your blitzing. Strength 3 on the blitz, horns, frenzy, Minotaurs are absolutely awesome. And having the Ogre there as a very reliable big guy and the best option there for throw teammate, tied together with 3 rerolls for this roster. If you want to play Pact for the first time, I think I would recommend this more than any other. And talked with Rich Saxby, who's a bit of a Renegade pro as well, and this is the one he suggested, and I couldn't agree more. You get 4 linemen, you get the Goblin for throw teammate, you get the Orc for brawling, you get Skaven for running around, you got Dark Elf and the Thrower for potential passing games. And you get 2 big guys, 1 to throw, 1 to murder, but you've still got a ton of flexibility, so take any 2 big guys you want. If you want to take the Troll and then add in your dedicated fans to take up the difference, you can do. But I like the Ogre and the Minotaur, throw teammate and blitzing fun. Chaos Pact for the win on this one. Okay, list number 2. So what if you want to run 3 big guys instead of just 2? So we've got the Troll Trio and Throw. Hear me out. 3 linemen, 1 Goblin, 1 Orc, 1 Skaven, 1 Dark Elf, 1 Thrower. So you've got all the positionals again. Take the Troll, take the Ogre, and then one of the Minotaur and the Rat or the Rat Ogre. Okay. Technically, you could take the Troll. Basically, it's the Troll and 2 other big guys. I've gone Troll, Ogre, and either Minotaur or Rat Ogre. One frenzy thing. The disadvantage of this team is 2 rerolls. Okay, so you get 3 big guys. One of them has to be the Troll for cost factor. But you get 2 rerolls, which is very limited. So, skills-wise, the Thrower gets passing on regular. It's a long old way to save up 140k. But it's not too much of a stretch for your Thrower to get 2 touchdowns. All you're looking at is 6 SPP, or if he gets lucky and swings the MVP, you could by the end of your first game get that 3rd reroll in the way of Loner, and that will help build up your team. So the advantage of this is you start with 3 big guys. Straight up, you get all 3, you get all your positionals to start grinding XP for, to build up their skills. But you will suffer the first few games if you do not have that 3rd reroll quickly. Okay, so the next roster we've got for you is the Big 3. So what happens if you want to take the Minotaur, the Ogre, and the Rat Ogre together? If you want to go for all the 140, 150k big guys that you can in this team, so all the really exciting elements, how do you go about it? 4 linemen, 1 Goblin. You need that Goblin for throw teammate and for stunty nonsense. 1 Orc, 1 Skaven. Okay, the Skaven, movement 7 piece, brilliant. The Orc, armor 9 piece, brilliant on the line. And then this is where the payoff comes, or at least the extra cost comes. You can take 1 Thrower or the Dark Elf. So the Dark Elf is great. Edge 2+, it's going to be doing most of what you... Edge 2+, passing 3+, it's going to do most of what you want most of the time. However, if you take the Thrower, like we just said, you can lean on that passing... skill access to get you leader, to get you reroll 3. It's going to be much easier to do that and save up 75k to then buy the Dark Elf afterwards than it is to save up 140k for all the rerolls in the world. But the strength of this is you get the Minotaur, the Ogre, and the Rat Ogre. So 2 frenzy, 3 big guys. It's gonna be madness. But if you want to start with the big boys, you can do it. It's gonna be tough, but it will be fun. So we've talked through how to take all the big fun stuff in this roster, but if you want to go for consistency, you actually can. So we've got the Trogre 4 rerolls build here. 5 linemen, 1 Goblin. The Goblin is ubiquitous. 1 Orc, 1 Skaven. Again, they're the same price as linemen, so you might as well take them. The Orc for the extra armor and the Skaven for the extra movement. Then you get 1 Thrower or the Dark Elf. Now, let's come back to that in a second. You take the Troll and the Ogre, and 4 rerolls. That bangs you in at exactly 1 million. So you got a couple of options here. If you take the Thrower, you have pass. If you take the Dark Elf, you've got the same passing ability and you've got that extra agility. You've got 4 rerolls, so your team is going to be doing almost everything it wants to do for the majority of the time. Now the Troll and the Ogre both have Loner. What you could do is drop your Thrower or Dark Elf for a regular lineman and boost up one of your big guys to something else. The whole point of this is you want consistency. So those 4 rerolls means that you start off the league in a great position with all the rerolls you want, but not a lot of players to do stuff with. So if you want a long league build, this one is going to mean you're going to be able to get away with more stuff. And it means that all the cash you save is going on buying positionals for your team, getting the 3rd big guy, getting a Thrower or Dark Elf, whatever you don't take. So safe bet is this, but I really do think that if you want some Chaos Pact madness, the 2 big Throw and 3 build is right there for you. 4 linemen, 1 Goblin, 1 Orc, 1 Skaven, 1 Dark Elf, 1 Thrower, so you get all the cool miniatures. You get an Ogre and a Minotaur for throw teammate and for frenzy smashing, and you get 3 rerolls. You end up with 10k left over for a dedicated fan factor at this point, and you can just go to town. So this is going to be the most fun build for me. Let's talk about dedicated fan factor really quickly. There's a lot of talk around DF being really important. So dedicated fans are what you can purchase at the beginning of building your team. You get 1 fan factor for each 10k. During a match, the more dedicated fans you and your opponent have together, the more cash you and your opponent get. So it's an investment. So say you go and spend 40k on dedicated fans, it means you're going to get an extra 20k each match, minimum. However, if you lose a game, you are likely to lose your fan factor. If you win a game, you are likely to gain that fan factor. So for me, I think it's far more important to have that TVOP element, so team value on pitch, rather than spending the... Because what you're going to have to do if you want to take fan factor is you're going to have to drop your Dark Elf and your Thrower for extra linemen. And I guarantee you that you are going to win more games having those in place, and you're just going to get the fan factor for free. So TVOP, think about what you've got on the pitch versus your total team value, and that for me is why, even though there's a lot of things saying actually downgrade these guys, take the DF, I'd stick with the good players because wins will get you that fan factor anyway, and you're going to get those wins. The better you perform, the better the touchdowns, the better the gold anyway. So yeah, that is it for me on Chaos Renegades. I love this roster. We've got some really cool ones this season. We've got Underworld, we've got Pact, we've got OWA, that's coming soon. We've got a lot of variable builds, and I think that's really exciting. Anyway, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think of these rosters. Which one are you going to take? Have I missed one? And let me know how you're getting on with Blood Bowl 2020. But for now, that is everything, and I will see you again soon.